All right, we are out here at Haw Creek Bike Park. We're going to test fly a new Developer Mini that was just built before it goes off to 910 drones. Paul, if you're watching, this one's coming to you here in the next week or so. And hopefully we'll see more Developer and Developer Mini go out the door as a result. So let's go ahead and open up QGroundControl, as we do not have all the setup and configuration UI built out in the iVue RC app. We still have to use pesky old QGroundControl, the Linux of drone control software. So we're waiting for QGroundControl to open. Not being too patient and waiting for it to open. I'm going to close out the Legion space, and here we go. We have QGroundControl open. We're going to plug in the radio, and we're going to go set Developer out in the field. Should have taken the bike, being at the bike park. What am I thinking? I'm not. All right. So again, not quite ready to fly just yet. Going to verify, one, the radio connection is working as it should. If it is, we'll have a green light on this radio back here, and you'll already have seen QGroundControl is connected. QGroundControl is connected, so you can see we just need to go to the Sensors tab and do the Accelerometer calibration. I'm gonna go out into the sun. Come on, baby, light my fire. All right. QGroundControl just said something. I don't know what. Just heard those knees pop. All right. I'm gonna try to do it, including the compass calibration with my watch on, although I might need to take the watch off for the compass calibration. All right, left side. And no, this is not the case for Developer Mini. This is actually even going to be too small of a case for the Developer Micro. However, we are fresh out of cases for the Developer Mini. They are on order though. So again, Paul, you will not have to worry about, oops, I was not holding it still. There we go. You will not have to worry about damage during transport as we do without the case. Although you could be like Mountain Empire Community College and receive a Developer HP via UPS, I think, it might have been FedEx, and have one of your payload brackets break, or I guess the payload bracket they got, because they only had one. That is definitely not level. We're gonna try that. Calibration complete. Internal does not look great. We're going to hit OK regardless. And before we do the compass calibration, let's go ahead and reboot tools. Yes, I am one. Give my knees a little bit of a break. Okay, props are there on the table. Can I get some nice sun? Sun-kissed. All right, we might have the radio and Legion too close to get an ideal compass calibration. Going to take my watch off. In any case, and let's see if we can get a nice, smooth compass calibration without even having to stand up all the way. Wouldn't that be nice? Look at that, both in the green. We might have to do a gyro calibration. Again, this is a first time build. Maybe the flight controller saw using another developer previously. or a Developer Mini previously, but still set up as if it were fresh. So fresh, so clean. All right, so we got ready to fly and stabilize. What about loiter? All right, I think we should be good once we get a position estimate. So let's take the computer. Yep, and we're ready to fly. Look at that. To actually fly, we're going to use the development version of the iVue RC app, as last time tried to use the production version. Found out that there is currently a bug with using a game controller. We're gonna have to cut this out with how much it looked like I struggled to open up this plastic bag. It's not even big enough or opaque enough to do the job of covering her face. Heyo! I did a motor test to make sure the motor's spinning in the right direction and the motors are in the right orientation. As far as Developer Mini goes, it matters more so where the motors are actually mounted, because the threads are built into the motors, where in the case of the base model Developer, the threads are added to the motors via a separate piece. And then Developer XE and Developer HP, those don't have any sort of prop adapters, as the props are screwed in directly because they have folding props. And we don't need to take off from this case, but in this case, we're going to. They say I'm a rapper, but I say no. All right. That was kind of worrisome. We lost communication just as I was closing out of QGroundControl, but to not quote Bill O'Reilly, to self-censor, we're doing it live. Add a drone. And again, I just went to worldsiVue.com, or in my case, dev-worldsiVue.com, using the development version. But here we are connecting. Allegedly, STM32, connect. Nope. We have a red radio. There we go. So I must have accidentally hit the USB cable in a way, and I lost connection. There we are. We're going to zoom into Developer's position on the map. Perfect time for a breeze. Summer breeze! Makes me feel fine. I'm sorry, you listeners. Not really, not enough to stop, but sometimes, you know, I hit the notes. Not that time for sure. And the orientation of Developer is not correct. However, let's go ahead and fly drone, arm and fly. We're going to have it automatically take off to 10 feet if all goes well at launch. And why would we expect anything differently, ladies and gentlemen? That was as clean as it gets. All right, now we're putting you into loiter flight mode. Forward is back, backwards is forward. So that is going to be something that I change in the parameters. But in the meantime, we can invert, I think it's vertical control. Let's try that. Yep, so in flight you can always swap it if you DIY build a developer, yeah, and don't set the parameter, but of course this will be set up correctly for anyone that buys a pre-built developer. All right, well, we have everything that we need. Controls are working as they should. Up is up, down is down, other than just adjusting the parameter for inverting the pitch, which again, we're able to do just via the UI here as well. But this is a temporary fix, not a permanent fix for the next flight. Since I really don't want to land it myself, even though it is really easy to do so, I'm just going to have it come down exactly where it's at. And I will meet it there. Ah! No, my mic. All right. Mic recovery time. There's the magnet, and there's the mic. Nice. Well, halfway there on the bike isn't too bad. Well, there you have it, a maiden flight of this Developer Mini. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the comments section below. Otherwise, Paul, this one's coming to you here shortly. Thanks for watching. Peace.